Wow.
Faceless
You
Void.
may now
So
select
they're
your
moving the
heroes.
Weaver
Yeah,
off lane.
generals.
Okay.
Yes. One of Crystallize's favorite heroes. He's very good
Alright.
at the Void. We did see him miss 1 or 2 chronos in the previous game, but
Got Elder Titan. Very, very good.
and
But
Witch
Void-
Doctor
Void's lost every game here, right?
0-3.
So we mentioned earlier how important these lanes were going to be for Na'Vi. Do you feel like they have what it takes to basically push EG?
No, I think that Void's the wrong hero against EG's fast timings. I just don't think it's gonna be online.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're only going to get like 2 or 3 Chronos in here, and I don't think their lineup actually takes good enough advantage. ET is good. I don't think Weaver's deal enough damage with that Chronos setup. So
Yeah, I think Na'Vi just needs to stall out the game as best as possible. But I think it's gonna be really hard with this Void, especially versus Master and IO. We've seen that here, that come.
You know, yesterday I was on the panel for Na'Vi, and I said, well, let's see if Na'Vi can prove my panelist wrong. They did it before, they can definitely do it again. Let's head over to a commentary team of Gods and Purge.
Good morning, Indonesia. Let's see. We are going to see if Na'Vi can do something very difficult. They did it yesterday. They upset Fnatic. Now EG.
It would be absolutely incredible if they'd be able to take the win here. Definitely the lower-rated team EG's performances recently have been amazing, and I think they've looked even better at this tournament, but the way that Na'Vi played yesterday was also incredible. So this would be an amazing game if Na'Vi can upset.
They definitely have potential for some very kind of troublesome lanes, I feel. Like, Weaver's one of those offlaners who isn't really run as an offlaner, but when he is, he's meant to be very annoying. Get in your face, something that General can really bother EG with. Then you've got the Viper, of course, the lane dominator, a roaming ET. It does feel like Na'Vi could potentially come out on top of the laning stage.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Things like Maledict are a huge threat against some of EG's heroes, especially like Dragonite. If he gets off to a bad start, it could delay a BKB, and if he doesn't have BKB, then team fighting might be a little tough. But as per usual in EG lanes, it's really going to be a lot about the dual off lane. How does Sumail do in his lane with crit, and can they transition to a later part of the game where they can control the map?
Will be the dual lanes that was kind of brought up by the panel. We're going to see Misery, at least for the start, up top, supporting Arteezy, down bottom, Crits IO, backing up Sumail. Very difficult lane to fight with. And picking a Void, if anything, I mean, I talked about those other lanes being annoying. This is the lane where EG should have a great time, because Void is not a safe lane carry that really bullies.
Yeah, and Time Walk isn't really that abusive against these two, because they don't really do a super huge amount of burst damage, at least until they get spirits and things like that. But with that said, Wish Doctor is going to be really effective against two heroes like this.
Begins.
A battle over this bottom bounty rune. Crystallize really wants it with the cast. He's going to get it, and Time Walk away. 3 bounty runes for Na'Vi. Nice little start.
Not all that bad on EG's side, though. They still did a pretty good amount of damage to Crystallize to start things off. He starts with 3 sets of regen, so that'll make things better. And the bottles start now for Io, so any bounty runes that come up, any runes are going to be huge for them winning this lane.
Bothers himself. Top lane General going for the pull. No open wounds used. He doesn't want to use Shukuchi because he wants to pull this wave with him, but he takes a lot of damage as a result. So it does look like they're going to be prioritizing, as per usual with Na'Vi a bit, Dendy's lane. They're going to give him the dual lane with Lil there to bully Fear a bit.
And it makes sense. Just a small mistake from General there in that he didn't aggro all of the creeps, and if one of them stays behind, it would mean that Life is able to get most of the last hits under the tower, but he's going to be forced to tango up here. I love that Misery followed him all the way. It's such a good move.
And without a salve, it's really hard for him to actually regen up. He regens very slowly. Anytime he's poking his nose out, Misery's coming back in, looking for additional harass.
He's doing his best to even just limit the last hits. Able to be gotten. Look at that, getting the range creep as well.
Yep.
That was so good for Misery, actually. He's like halfway to level 2 now just from that deny.
That was a lot of harass damage, and not the start. Perhaps General on the Weave was hoping for. Arteezy managed to kind of pull the wave behind this tower to meet the next creep wave, which means it's not going to push out even to the Weaver's tower. Often the big thing about that pull is you kind of get your 2 creep waves to meet behind the tower, and then the lane also pushes, but because the tower killed the creep wave that fast, General is not really going to have the best lane equilibrium. This feels like it's going to be a tough lane.
Yeah, especially because of his starting item build. He's opted for a fast potential wand and a circlet, but yeah, he's got a mango in his backpack, but he just doesn't have that much regen yet. He hasn't gotten any last hits from the first wave, so he's not even close to something bottle. He may have to ferry out some more regen early, and it's going to be a tough lane.
The ideal hero to beat waves with. You can't Shukuchi and pull the wave with you. The aggro and punishing him.
even getting like level 2 on Weaver as well would give him huge kill potential against A, whether it's this or even Gemini, who trade better. But since they're still both level 1 here, General is just kind of losing all facets of this early trade. But it can turn around based on him getting a little bit more experience and maybe AA getting out of it.
What's your read on this lane? Do you feel like EG are going to win both of these side lanes and then Navi win mid, or is it not as simple as that?
I would say it's definitely too early. I mean, but EG's looking really good in the safe lane, at least for the next minute or two. At the very least, they'll force out some more regen. On the mid lane, Fear is already getting very, very harassed. And if they can keep the Dragon Knight low, then they can continue doing more and more damage. Lil's also got a boost start, so he's very good at harassing Fear if 3 puts out of position. So looks really good for Navi on the mid lane. And I think the safe lane is probably way too early to tell.
Definitely seen a few times Fear will get pressured early mid, even die a couple more times, and still catch up. So it seems like a player with EG that they just don't mind if he gets pressured a bit. That doesn't seem to bother them.
That's what I've seen as well usually. In the games that he got really pressured, he just gets a Blink Dagger, and then he just goes around and makes kills happen. Blink, stuns, let his allies follow up. And with an A, that's like the perfect thing. Let him sack the lane, get a Blink Dagger, get those kills that help you get back into it until you can get a BKB.
Have one of the players just disconnecting and reconnecting, hopefully getting back underway. Start here with series as a whole, these two teams' journeys. Na'Vi have somewhat done the impossible beating Fnatic yesterday. What was your how do you feel like Na'Vi are kind of approaching this match after a big upset like?
Well, I think they're definitely pretty happy right now. I think the thing that's going to give them the most confidence is the fact that they are on the upswing and looking like an improving team in a lot of ways. I think all of their players are performing extremely well right now. So I think for the future, that's something that Navi's got to be really happy about, knowing that they're not only getting DPC for this event, but potentially future ones as well. Like maybe they'll improve enough that they could be a TI-worthy team. I think that's a great thing that's got to build confidence for them. And I think EG's on the same. Like they're finally into the groove where they're feeling good. They're falling a little short at the previous majors, but they were looking very good, and they were only losing to the best of the best team.
Yeah, you look at the teams EG lost to, and you're like, well, if they keep playing like this, eventually you're going to get brackets where they don't have to verse VP and Liquid, and we'll get some top points.
Or maybe play slightly better and actually beat Liquid. Like those kinds of changes would absolutely make a big impact on their prize money and DPC.
We're back underway here. EG Na'Vi, very early stages of the game. General forced to go back to Fountain on the Weaver in the offlane. Definitely not the start he was hoping for with that creep wave pull, but he's got to kind of reset, heal up, and go back as Na'Vi focus their attention on the mid lane with Lil once again coming in, harassing Fear as much as possible and give Dendy that good start.
Definitely a tough fight for him here. They're going to pressure a little more. This is a little dangerous for Fear, but he's going to be okay. In some ways, General didn't even lose out that badly by going back to Fountain. He's going to lose about 2 creeps worth of experience. He would have had to run all the way to the tower anyways. Considering the start, I think he's relatively happy by saving his Tangos. Bounty Rune spawning in a moment as well. Io's already moving into position to try to grab both sets if possible, since it'd be even more regen for them in the lane. And yeah, they're going to chase a little.
Yep. Fully LeBron away from it, and there's not a whole lot he can do. He's gone Voodoo Restoration, so you talk about 2v2 lane at bottom. Navi's not looking to win this lane when you're getting Voodoo Restoration. They're just looking to stay alive and farm. And
normally this is definitely the wrong move on Witch Doctor. Lately, Maledict has been the tool to get kills on heroes like Beastmaster that contest the lane. But when you're against an Io, and he's going to have tons of heals anyway, you'll never lower his HP enough for Maledict to actually do damage. So it just completely counters the Witch Doctor as long as they don't get cast bounce too much together. So a slightly different strategy that will potentially give him a better tool against this combo.
Being chased around a bit, this bottom lane going for some pulls. You see Lil rotate up top though. He's looking to come and help out General, but immediately gets initiated on the Open Wounds. Cold Feet not quite going to latch on. The boots perhaps saving Lil's life there. And Misery had to back off himself as General coming back to this lane. Still only level 2, but does have the Gemini, so a lot more damage output coming out from his sweep.
Yeah, and the Wraith Band helps out a little bit as well, fighting on the bot lane though.
Flies forced to time walk out of there. Long cooldown on that and does get hit by the axes afterwards, so.
Every time he lands an axe like that after leap, that's just damage that adds up. And he's missing quite a bit, 1 salve left.
He started with 6 Tangos and the salve, so already no Tangos at his disposal. Does have the Voodoo Restoration, so he's not going to have to use his salve immediately.
We're trading a bit here with LeBron. A little close.
No regen left on LeBron either. This is truly a battle of kind of regen at this bottom lane. Lil's going to TP down here, perhaps looking to turn the tides. Can he find a stomp on Crit Io? That's going to be the big difference making here, but with the trees chopped down, he can't use the fog to his advantage.
Kill.
And you can't go on Sumail.
He could go through and get this kill. Oh, he gets it.
Wow, Sumail kills LeBron's Witch Doctor, and he's going to hold his own fight. He's got crit to back him up. Crit even has a salve if he needs to use it. That is the beauty of the IO Beastmaster. Crit positioning so well. You can't get to the IO, then you can't deal with the Beastmaster.
And look at this timing. Now they get bounty runes as well. So even more experience and gold here on EG's dual lane. And that's one of the big issues against Witch Doctor against this lane, is that his armor is super low, so the axes just deal tons of damage. And Fear in the mid lane still being very pressured. He's taken tons of damage this game, but he's almost got the same last hits as Viper. So I think EG's really happy with their lanes at this point.
Spent a bit of money bringing out additional regen, but hey, he's got the Soul Ring now, and ultimately, the fact he's not dying and Dendi is not crushing this one. Good news. Na'Vi and Fever top 3 CS only. General is not having a good time.
Man, that's so little. Tough lane for him. Misery even getting 2 points at killing Touch Harass, but Fear in trouble in the mid lane.
Dendi, yeah, after getting stopped there, they're trying to get this kill. They can't get another poison attack as Fear duped around the trees. Misery TP'd in, but he actually got gone on by the Weaver, so he's in with very low health. Something that Lil is looking to punish. If he can hit this stomp, that may set up Dendi to get a kill. Can he get the poison attack with the vision? It should be a kill. That damage over time. Dendi brings down Misery.
Yeah, very good try there for Misery to do something, but there's no stun left on Dragonite, and he can't justify the skill point yet. Needs as much Dragon Blood as he can handle at this point. And a nice kill by Dendi and Lil.
I think he must have been TPing when he was full health, and General just like went in and started right-clicking him as he TP'd out, so.
It definitely doesn't take much.
Perhaps did not take into account the Weaver damage when he in that mid lane, but Stance General has the bottle, something we're seeing a lot of these offlaners do. A hero that's slippery like the Weavers, the Bat Riders, utilize these bounty runes. Constant regen is available to you if you can pick up bounty runes.
Plus, he's so fast that he can get between them without wasting as much time as a normal. Well, if he's being pressured in lane a bit, it's going to get a bug, but probably run under tower and then it's up for the last one.
Force out a rage there, but not even using a stomp to do so, as both sides will hold their spells and mana, knowing that go for a stomp, he's going to rage, so full values. Doing some harassment though.
Dendi finally getting some really good lane advantage against Fear here. Got about a full level top of him. So it's a little scary for Fear. No boots yet for him either, so if he gets Viper Strike, definitely a good chance that he dies, especially if there's a rotation.
Will find Misery again, does dodge the stomp, threads the needle width between them, and immediately TPs. Not very far, but far enough away from the Weave.
This is a really hard position to be in against a hero that's extremely mobile like Weaver and does high physical damage. If he keeps making good decisions like this, it's going to mean General doesn't have the best capability to catch up, and EG will be at a better position. But if he makes mistakes, he's going to be extremely vulnerable for the rest of the game, and likely a big source of gold for Na'Vi.
Eyes back to the bottom lane. Fritz Io doing some jungling with the spirits. Meanwhile, Beastmaster just have grand old time. He's got phase boot 40 CS. Top of the net worth. They're going to share some regen here. This is a lot of farm and additional experience when you're getting these neutral camps as well. That was a double stack there. Salve up and share the regen. Very troubling for Crystallize, who has lost the race to level 6. Beastmaster has got magic wand charges, so a potential roar could be coming out. And that's something you could be very respectful of.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Witch Doctor is going to be the guy they want to go on if they can find him, but very wisely walking far away from any birth of Beastmaster here. And I love how E.G.Suma1L does this. Like, he hits a small camp with his axes while also damaging the creep wave just to maximize the speed that they get neutral.
Top lane. General went in very deep, tried to bring down Misery, but actually got outplayed and pays for it with his own life. Misery, he's been the punching bag for this week for quite some time, but we do see him hit back there with the help of Arteezy on the life stealer.
They throw Scan down behind the tower. They do know that Faces Void's there.
We've hit level 6 now, so there is kind of retaliation potential. Viper's heaping in. They want to go for this chrono, but they've got to get the Io. They don't get him with the chrono, but if he tries to tether, he'll get caught in that, so there's no retaliation available. Good chrono placement meant that he could not tether in.
Yeah, that was so smart. There wasn't that much regen on crit either way, so there's a high chance that E.G.Suma1L lives there, especially with the Viper rotation. But I mean, routinely when Crystallize plays this hero, he makes Faces Void look like a very strong pick, just because his chronos are so well thought out consistently.
Yep. And he also makes it seem like a strong fighting hero. He doesn't go that like Battle Fury build. Typically, it's always like the Mask of Madness into like a Shadow Blade. He wants to use Chronosphere anytime it's up. We don't see, oh, Chrono's up, I'm going to farm. I got a Battle Fury. We see, where is the best place to use Chrono?
Yeah, I love that build a lot more, personally. Makes a lot more happen. Fear possibly in trouble with the Invis on Elder Titan, but with Misery behind, they have turn potential. Probably not enough damage on the Na'Vi side anyways. Oh, they pop a smoke. It's instantly broken by Lil's Invis. So
And they
very unfortunate.
ping the trees still.
That would have been a really good rotation. Probably we're going to go swing down towards Crystallize because Dragonite's stun with Roar follow-up very likely would have been a kill with Chilling Touch and Cold Feet top of it.
Yeah, and that would have been something EG's really good at, is getting kills that go into towers. His bottom tower
You're in
already
trouble,
very
mid.
low.
He looks very dead now.
The IO comes in, but it's too late as LeBron and Lil set up another kill for Dendi.
It's really well done. Just stomp initiation basically as they all approach, drop Maledict, ulti, easy kill.
Much as Na'Vi getting these kills is still very EG favored in terms of the farm that the cores are getting. They get the first tower of the game. It's over 2k gold lead as Beastmaster and Lifestealer, Sumail and Arteezy top the net worth right now.
Still doing that X trick to accelerate his farm. He's got 71 last hits on Beastmaster at 9 minutes and 30 seconds. This is
Radiant's bottom
I mean, the Void, despite all the pressure, has 60 of his own. Some of that is neutrals. They can actually get the kill they've been looking for. Down bottom, they've got a Cold Feet to follow up potential Roar, so good lockdown. Elias, you need to be careful here. They go with the tether, immediately time walks away. Sumail, ooh, did not go for the Roar. Slightly got out of range there, but it did look like it was cancelled. Instead, they will pressure the tier 2 tower. Something Na'Vi cannot defend until Chrono's up, and well, it's up in 5 seconds. They could do this purge.
They've got Glyph to buy 5 seconds, so they can definitely buy enough time to get in position. If they can catch crit on the start,
here come Na'Vi, smoked up. They come in from behind. Dendi with LeBron. Can they get the cast? They don't throw it as he tethers away. He needed to time that cast to kind of chase after crit and perhaps bounce between them.
I'm actually very surprised they didn't just kill Ancient Apparition instead. I mean, he was right there to cast Cold Feet.
They really wanted a core hero, I guess.
I totally understand that, but killing Beastmaster when you're initiating, I don't know. I feel like the A was the easy pickup there. More than simple. Just brown boots on him.
They smoked down there, and in hindsight, not getting a kill at all out of that. Definitely a support kill in itself would have just been plenty to walk away with.
And Arteezy does end up in the safe lane again. He's going for the Treads into Radiance build this game. It's been getting more and more popular. Pretty effective this game too, against heroes like Weaver and Void and Viper that need to land attack.
Viper strike in mid, they're going for the kill on Fear. Here comes General. Swarm to give them some extra damage and minus armor. Don't see any retaliation as IO nowhere to be seen. Dendi gets another kill as General will time-lapse himself back up to healthy state.
Oh man, the TP just got delivered to IO, so that small window there where IO couldn't end up turning the fight.
Yep.
Huge timing there for Na'Vi.
General up top, being very annoying, trying to get this Misery kill, but he gets caught in the Cold Feet. Bit of a misplay there. We'll get going on by Arteezy, but he's still chasing with the Spirit. He's getting vision. He knows where Misery is. Doesn't get the Shikuchi damage, but the right clicks will be enough. This level 4 Shikuchi, this is where Weaver starts to get strong and scary. This is like your peak time as an offlaner. The cooldown is really the big part with Shikuchi. Level 1, level 2 has such a long cooldown, it's very hard to play around. But with the Arcane Rune there, it was a 4-second cooldown. There was almost no downtime.
That's crazy.
For that Shikuchi. 0.2 seconds of downtime, realistically.
Which is perfect. That's just enough time to throw one attack and then go invisible again.
Yeah.
Like, what a great rune for the early game.
That's actually insane. Like, it's not really a hero you think of, like, oh, Arcane Weaver, that's really scary. But
yeah, absolutely.
12 minutes in when you've got a level 7 Weaver, it's perhaps one of the best runes you can get.
It's definitely one of the big negatives of having Lifestealer in the lane against a Weaver. It is not a good matchup. Weaver kind of beats you in almost all ways. You can counter open wounds, you can throw bugs on Lifestealer and it stays regardless of rage. It's one of the best matchups, actually. It's amazing that in some ways that EG's been able to do this well so far, and it was really just some of that lane movement with the creep wave that they did.
Online Na'Vi have got LeBron up to level 6, which means a Death Ward could look to combo with a Chronosphere. See if he finds an
try to kill
opportunity
General.
Tries. Unsuccessful.
It was really hard. They would have had to open wounds him right after Shikuchi ended. Then they could have gotten the kill, but they ended up trying for it even without open wounds. General very wisely went freeze after.
Sumail and Crystallize playing very cautiously. Sumail just using his aura to last hit. Meanwhile, Crystallize hiding deep in the trees, waiting for the lane to push out. Lil perhaps getting caught out here. They're going to throw the Roar here. Some of the Necro Book, and Lil should be brought down. We'll look for an Earth Splitter as well as a Stomp. Dendi actually rotating in, trying to some kind of a retaliation. And Na'Vi bringing in many heroes here. Both General and Dendi making the swing, and not getting any kills there means both top and mid will be taking some damage.
It's actually such a great place to find an initiation because it was far enough away from the shrine that they could escape and use these cliffs to actually get out of the way of Viper. Viper is not the best lane rotator for that reason. He's so slow.
Yeah, he's not a chasing hero. And Weaver, while he can chase with Shikuchi, he's not going to like stun or slow and buy time for other heroes to catch up. The only hero that can really do that is a Void. He TPs in, time walks Chronos, locks him down, but
Misery in
Void
trouble.
was farming.
He can Ice Blast this, but
Do just that, but
all he can do, just do some damage.
Rune's coming up too, so we'll see Bounty Hunter probably pick that up. Void can
Radiant's
rotate in top
bottom
with the
tower
smoke, so
is
looking
under
for that
attack.
Chronosphere, but Sumail is at the tier 2 bottom tower, so he's likely made this call. Void's not here defending or farming. I've used Raw. If Void's not bottom after I've used Raw, something is amiss. And Na'Vi will not show themselves at either top nor mid. Sumail takes the free tier
Radiant's
2 tower.
bottom
They have
tower
read
has fallen.
Na'Vi like a book here.
Yeah, losing an H-Champ version for that, completely worth it. And this is like the one game on Beastmaster that I feel like Sumail's played defensive in a lot of ways, and it's because he is so scared of the Chronosphere.
Yep.
But as long as he doesn't get chronoed and killed again, he can control the whole jungle at this point with the tier 2 missing.
Such a good job just keeping tabs of where this Void is. Like, he played very defensive, like you say, but then the second the Void left the lane and he kind of knew it, the game sense there was he just took a
Dire's
tier 2
top
tower. So
is under attack.
see what Na'Vi can do. They've scanned out the top lane. They perhaps think that the lifesteal's up here. General is going to cooching in, looking to see what he can find. Whoa! That time lapse back into a Raw. General gets caught out there. I think he realized he was in a bit too deep behind the tower, but the Raw was ready and caught him inside the tower detection range.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a misfire there in intelligence. He scanned behind the tower, it barely caught A, and the place Misery was
Radiant's
standing
top
was
tower
not
is
where
under
General
attack.
expected him to be, so he dove under that area, expecting to find A, through the Scarabs, didn't find anybody,
Radiant's
and then
top
because
tower
Sumail
has
happened to
fallen.
TP in as well, seeing the dive, and they end up getting an easy kill. So just slight misplay there by General, but it makes sense why he did it.
That is a Necro 3 push coming out. 9k net worth Beastmaster.
Dire's
Sumail,
middle tower is
perhaps
under
his best
attack.
offlane hero is something the panel were talking about. We will
Radiant's
see Fear getting
structures
gone here.
are
Going for the TP out with the Io backing him up. He may just survive, but there's the stun. It's going to bring him down. Just enough damage being dished out with the Maledict. Dendi going to TP himself. Sumail
Should survive
Still
here.
going to be okay. Well, Dendi survives. Meanwhile, Sumail does end up going down. That was the top lane. That's the Chronos here. Used with the Mask of Madness. Crystallize gets the kill. Zartizi couldn't do enough damage to Dendi as he TP'd out.
Little help with Weaver as well, so a couple little engagements, but 2 dead heroes on EG. Not sure if that's the best situation for them to be in. They lose their tier 1 mid as well, so Na'Vi is definitely taking EG kind of head-to-head here.
Before that fight, it felt like Crystallize had slowed down. He had rotated top, smoked up, couldn't find a Chrono. He then spent some time in the enemy jungle, couldn't find a Chrono, and that's the key thing. Finding Chronos, getting kills is what's going to kind of shoot your farm ahead and also slow down the opposing team's cores by getting kills on that.
And the Mask of Madness is a perfect item for this, just because it's going to allow him to do a ton of physical damage. And against a hero like Lifestealer, more
Radiant's
lockdowns
middle
is the
tower
way to
is
go.
under attack.
Relic is up on Arteezy though. He's about 300 gold away from Radiance, and then everything gets a lot harder for Na'Vi.
Do you think
Dire's
EG is
top
going to be
tower
looking
is under
to
attack.
really start grouping up,
Dire's
pushing down
top
towers at that
are
point, or are they happy to
fortified.
keep on farming?
I think they can definitely group and fight a little, especially if they put Arteezy inside some neutral creeps. I think would be the best way. Because Na'Vi actually doesn't have the best neutral killing capabilities. They can like Witch Doctor cast it, they can hit it with like Weaver, but against somebody like Faces Void, he can be really
Dire's
obnoxious
top
in this
tower
game.
has been denied.
See how EG approach it, because yes, the Void Chronosphere, that is the one cooldown that Na'Vi have to really be careful about how they use it. Anytime it's down, it does feel like EG can take objectives. Roshan will be almost a freebie for them if there's no Chronosphere to contest it, so Na'Vi, I think, have to pick their moments right as far as how they use their ult.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And the one hero that's not going very well for EG is
Dire's
Spear on the
bottom
Dragon
tower
Knight,
is
but
under attack.
with that said, he's almost got his Blink Dagger.
Okay, Misery. This Weaver has just been bullying Misery time and time again.
The ward placement allows it so well. Spots where all the supports are likely to be, and then he can go get the solo kills with the fast defusal. He's recovered so well on
Yeah.
General has.
Looking nice and decently farmed here. We'll find out he's in the mid lane, but that Radiance will definitely deter him from going for
Radiant's
this
top
kill.
tower is under attack.
Na'Vi will take the tier 1 at bottom, but the tier 2 top, the bigger tower of the two, taken by EG. Necrobox. Let's go back and finish this one down. Gets under the 9 range. Na'Vi actually want to defend this one. Dendi comes in, gets rawed immediately. He's still fairly tanky as Sumail will juke out the Earth Splitter, going to the side here. I think he knows he might be in trouble here. The Ice Blast flying in. Dendi's going to get low from this one. Here comes Io. He saves Sumail. Takes him back to the fountain. Crit. Securing the save there. Bottom lane, meanwhile, Chronosphere used. Fear gets caught by the Maledict Death Ward. No escape for him, as he almost certainly will tick on down. Crystallize, happy to let the kill go to LeBron.
Big gold there for LeBron. 454 on that Dragonite kill.
It doesn't seem worth it. It's a Chronosphere just for a DK. It's not really the 2 position. We talked about this a lot, where here he always plays kind of third fiddle to Sumail and Arteezy, even though he's playing in the mid lane. And
With that said, though, Fear was able to purchase out his Blink Dagger. And LeBron is queuing up an Aghanim Scepter. This is actually a huge item this game because of how low a lot of the armor is on EG's side. If he can sit really far back in a fight and the cores on Navi's side are gone on, or if they get a chrono on like 3 heroes and they drop the Death Ward, Navi can just wipe fights with that alone. I think that's why they're forcing gold on him.
Navi are going to do what they can to try and defend their tier 1 mid, but as per last time, Chrono is used, EG look to take towers. I like what Navi are doing. They're split pushing. They know they can't really team fight without their ultimate, so instead they try and do damage elsewhere on the map. LeBron looking for TP out for Fear. Great guess. The game sense from him to know exactly where LeBron would be with the TP out. Gets the blink stun.
Sumail just solo killed the Weaver on the mid lane as well in the meantime.
My, had the Sentry Ward down, and yet
what a turn of events.
Shadowblade also picked up. It looks like that was what was used to initiate in, and those 2 heroes dead. Well, straight into the Roche Pit. EG go.
I mean, they spotted the Witch Doctor going to the north to go for the TP, but Fear perfectly guessing that one. And the fact that they're getting 2 big kills at the same time is going to make it a lot harder for Navi to stabilize and feel comfortable with their movement. Medallion's picked up as well, so that'll help them take Roche a little faster, but they don't have a lot of time here. This is getting a little dangerous for EG.
They get the sleep. Centaur stun used as well. They're trying to delay this one. The neighborhood. Does he run in and risk this one with a 4-star? He wants to go for the steal, maybe. Does he do this? Dendy just doing what damage he can. Gets stunned up. Now the Earth Splitter there as well. They really want to finish off Roche, and Dendy gets away from the Ice Blast back to safety. They give it up. Void was not there. Void did not have Chronosphere. You can't really blame Crystallize doing what he's doing bottom. It seems to make sense given the current state of his cooldown, and Navi delay things a bit, pose a threat, but they don't actually contest Roche.
Very tense moment for both teams. EG looking like they could be killed and Roche taken from them. And on Navi's side, Dendy almost goes down, but the Force Staff able to buy him some time. Keep him alive. He's definitely a tanky one right now on Viper.
Full completed Rod of Atos on Little's
He might try to solo kill Dendy here. He's got Necro in 3 seconds. But instantly look at Navi setting up for this.
Yep. 18 scanned. Clever play from EG, scanning behind the core like, oh, this Viper's pushing far up. Is he baiting? Let's check right behind him. And
especially right after Roshan, that would have been kind of suicide for Dendy to do, but EG was way ahead of that move.
And right when Chronospheres come back up, you've got to assume that Navi are going to be looking to take a team fight with it. They've found a few solo kills off of it, but the big group up Chronospheres just haven't come into play. Crystallize not going for the Shadowblade we often see, has a Lincoln queued up, importantly blocks the Raw initiation, blocks a DK stun initiation, and neither of those 2 initiating heroes have a good way to break the link.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think normally Shadowblade is kind of a must when you go Mask of Madness first, but this game against these heroes with an A follow-up, Lincoln's is certainly needed. Because if he gets stunned as he's about to chrono, or if they initiate on him, kill him at the start of the fight, Navi almost for sure loses the engagement.
VG, 20-minute games we talked about, perhaps something they have on their mind. We're at 22 minutes here. Teasy's poking around the tier 3 bottom, the tier 2 mid also being pressured, but it's a team fight up top that's brewing. Dendy, ooh, out just in time as the relocate coming
they got Crystallized.
That's the bigger kill. He hasn't bought his Lincoln Sphere yet. They're going to bring down the Void, and EG find a big kill. Instead of going for the push, they come back to fend and find a Void kill.
Couple seconds away from his TP, and he would have been able to get out in time, but very good defense from EG. I didn't think they were going to be able to do anything there, but Misery providing vision again with his ultimate, and that allows them to follow up. So Fear approaching his BKB territory, only about 1,600 away, but in the meantime, EG is still constantly pressuring. They used Relocate to send Sumail back to the mid lane, and I feel like EG is always, they always have 2 cores on the opposite side of the map in both of the other lanes, and if they just avoid these Navi baits and 5-man attempts, they should have a huge split push advantage.
They're taking their times very well, as Navi have not found that opening to get a big Chronosphere off. It really is testament to EG's decision-making and movements rather than Crystallize not having good chronos this game. It's entirely EG are just playing around the fact they're
a golden thread.
Still very far away from Link. Not that far, but about 700 gold. He's got to be scared for now. And map control as well is something that Navi's worried about. They're dropping sentries all over the place. They do not want to let EG have any vision. because it's totally going to impact their ability to take a fight.
Yep. And there's this Shadow Blade initiation from a Beastmaster that you've got to really respect. He manages to just Shadow Blade in, get a good roar off. You're in a lot of trouble.
And during the meantime, EG's doing the best thing they can, which is actually just spread out and farm as efficiently as possible. It's not very common that you see EG do this, where they all go hit neutral camps at separate places, but the waves are so pushed in already that it's the best thing to do. Being too close to enemy base just means higher chance you get initiated on, so occasionally mixing in these moves is going to throw Na'Vi off on the back foot and make them a little confused where EG might be.
EG's 3's cores still have decent room to grow. Lifesteal just now gets his SMY, DK still looking for BKB, and on the Na'Vi side, the most farm core is the Viper. He's at 10k net worth, but he's got this Helm of the Dominator, Hurricane bike build. This is not really a late game Viper build.
I think it's kind of reminds me of what Pepita's been doing for transitioning Viper, and I see a lot of value in it for sure. Just because if he can keep himself alive in a couple fights and still have good attack speed, then as he buys more and more items like an AC or something else, Sanchanyasha maybe, then he will eventually become right-click heavy enough that he can even contest somebody like Lifestealer.
Yep. Get to that point. Lifestealer is definitely a hero that can be dealt with by the Viper Strike. He pops a raid, so good tools against the Lifestealer with the Weaver, Void. All three of their cores on paper can match up well.
Yeah, the only downside to their core matchups is just that they're all forced to get Lincoln Spheres. And usually that item is definitely very defensive in comparison to just buying a bunch of damage items. So it kind of forces them down this path. That means that yes, their heroes match up well, but they're not going to do as much damage and be able to just blow up supports as fast as they'd like.
Perhaps a hero we haven't talked about much past the lane stage is the Io. How does Na'Vi approach this? Because theoretically, even if they get a good chrono on the cores in the front line, Crit can just save them with a relocate.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That you could try to do what Crystallize did before, which was put Chronosphere behind the target, but as soon as you're tethered, even from far away, you can relocate. So that's going to be the best target if they can find him at the start of the fight, is killing Io.
Down the Lil kill. He'll go down.
Very easy. They didn't even have to use like Dragonite Stun or Necro 3.
Immediate cause of Na'Vi, who do not want to fight into EG right now.
The Ice Blast, going to get the Witch Doctor a little low and prep for the next fight, and they're going to come forward and start hitting buildings. This is a good timing for them. Without Lil there, the counter initiation is not nearly as good as for Na'Vi. They can maybe try for a Chrono with the Death Ward, but very dangerous right now, and Witch Doctor only has level 1 Death Ward.
Not having that additional damage for a Chronosphere makes a big difference, so EG, Aegis expires. Well, we're going to take another tower. We're fine with that. AC queued out the Lifestealer. Things progressing very well for the North American squad, who are growing their gold lead. It was, you know, pretty stable, 3, 4, 5. It just seems to go up 1,000 gold every couple of minutes as they just continue to outfarm Na'Vi.
And I think the way they've played the last like 5 to 10 minutes is they grabbed the Aegis, and they didn't pressure their opponents because they didn't have BKB on Dragonite, and they waited to outmaneuver their opponents and look for possible kills. So like the best way to play Dota in some cases, if you have a gank-heavy lineup, is get a ton of ganks off, and then when they start getting scared and 5-manning a lot, that's when you do that farm period. And it might seem like a waste because of the Aegis, but okay, they didn't use the Aegis, but it also made sure that Na'Vi couldn't take it, and it meant that even if Lifestealer's playing a little aggressive farm-wise, he might be able to escape and get out anyway. And now they're just in this position where they've hit these item peaks and progressed to the next level. Like Lifestealer having SNY and a plate mail means that now he's extremely hard to kill on Navi's side.
Does it... Chasing around some illusion at top. Does it hurt EG that they've got this big amount of farm centralized on a Beastmaster? Yes, it's Sumail. He often plays that very farm-heavy role. It's a Beastmaster. This is not a hero that on paper scales like a Lifestealer does or a Dragonite.
On paper, he doesn't, but that's because normally they're never this farmed. I think it's the safe answer. He's got Silver Edge finished. It's not at all a bad item in this case. There's some breaks to hit, especially on Viper would be really useful to break Corrosive Skin to make for an easier kill. Like, he can solo kill any hero in the game right now between Silver Edge and a Solar Crest. He's so strong. So as long as he's able to continuously farm at the same rate and potentially get ganks off, then there's really no downside to him getting items on his hero since he does scale as a right clicker with his aura.
Okay. Importantly, against the Beastmaster, Navi's about to have a second link in both Weaver and Void. Kind of remove that solo kill potential with these,
That's
unless
true.
he can break Linkers with the Necro Book, the Purge.
Yeah.
But that's, I don't know, that's kind of a big if. You do have a window to get away. If you're a Void, you see your Linkers break by that, you're time walking the hell out of there. So
Yeah, I think the only way to do it reliably would be to walk close to them, pop the Necro early, and then approach it from trees as you initiate with Silver Edge. That way the Purge hits and you instantly attack and roar.
Yeah, and against a hero like Weaver, even if you can't Shikuchi away because you've got the true sight, so that could definitely work well there. But with that said, 2L is not all about solo kills. He's going to be playing around his team. When he's this farm, he doesn't want to be off alone. He wants his team wants to be around him, take fights, go for kills. In this case, perhaps secure themselves a Roshan as they smoke up. Both sides playing around the pit. Rosh does respawn for another 2 minutes though.
Like Navi's aware of EG's movement here. They knew they were on the bot area of the jungle, and General's position was also just waiting to break at smoke from either direction, depending on which way EG came. So no kills found. The Dire does end up scanning, but a little bit late there to spot where General was.
Near max Rosh respawn will perhaps slow down EG's game a bit further, but since the ages expired and they're up 8k gold, they're now up 11k gold. So the trajectory is very EG favored as we kind of continue on here. Things just keep on going better and better for EG in terms of the farm they're getting. They just control more of the map. 2 of their deep observer wards are directly outside the Na'Vi base on the top and bottom side. So they see Na'Vi when they leave the base, and it's kind of this starvation Dota where you can't get out and farm. EG's just farming lanes and farming jungle. Farming your jungle as well.
Yeah. And the hardest is just the solo kill potential that all the EG heroes have. They can just if it's just a Beastmaster or maybe a Dragon Knight +1 or Lifestealer +1, they can always get a kill. And there's also the threat of the relocate ganks as well. So there's just so much more pressure on the map from Navi's side.
Then he an axe queued up and Tomb of Experience. So I imagine he really wants to get that level 20 Viper Strike damage talent with an Aghanim Scepter and use that low cooldown, longer range Viper Strike as a way of dealing with some of these EG heroes.
Feeling very confident here. They're going to de-ward the Observer Ward on the cliff. General's going to maybe grab a Necro 3, but both teams still trying to retain map control. EG not trying to throw any of this advantage away.
Using a Necro Book for de-warding kind of shows the state of this game a bit, where EG recognize we're not really finding kills. Big team fights aren't going to happen. If anything, it's a bit scary against the Void Chronosphere, so let's just control the map.
Absolutely the right move to make, because a lot of times if you're winning this hard, the way that you get behind is if you think you're confidently going to get a kill, and then they have a sentry down, they're able to turn around and initiate on you. And then that's a lot of gold from somebody like 2L being trickled back into the enemy team. So as long as they just make sure they have map control, then they can confidently walk around knowing that they're not spotted and then make better decisions. And again, Navi's just forced to be together all the time.
Game very much feels like we're building up to this one big team fight. Whether it happens in the next few minutes at Roshan, or perhaps EG get Roshan and it happens after that when they go for the high ground. What are like the key items or key things for the two teams when that big, like with that big team fight? Like what's Na'Vi looking to do and what do you think EG's looking to do?
Well, Fear's almost got his halberd. I think that's very important just because it's going to give him the ability to initiate. That paired with the BKB. He hasn't even gotten the damage perk of 15. He just went health. He knows what his job is. It was have a really tough landing stage, and now it's initiate and start the fight.
Oh, General, he had his Lincoln's pop. He's going to get bursted. Nicely played as they're going to go for a +1. LeBron caught out as well, and that guarantees Roshan for EG. It's not the big team fight that I was alluding to, but it's a pickoff into Roche. And every kind of kill, every minute that passes, Na'Vi fall further and further behind it. It feels like that big team fight, it's almost better if Na'Vi take it sooner rather than later, because EG is going to be even further ahead when it happens.
And now with Bash on life, so it means ganking is even easier. 2L was able to initiate there. He must have used maybe the troll net perhaps to break the Lincolns, but they're chasing up after Void. Then he's going to buy some time though with the net on Fear, and Crystallize should be able to get away. He's queuing up a Monkey King bar, so he doesn't have to worry about evasion as much.
I think the surprise was 2L had a Blink Dagger as well then. Like he did break it with the troll instead, and I think he just assumed, oh, 2L's not here, it's just this troll, but he broke it with the net and 2L instantly blinked in and roared.
May just seem like a normal neutral creep that 2L summoned for free, but definitely a gank kill.
Yeah, and talked about how he can't easily break a Lincoln Sphere with that, except with the Necro Book. Well, he's got neutrals as well.
Yeah, that's a really cool way to do it. If he happens to get that creep, and he's got Blink. I guess Shadow Blade could work similar too, but definitely a little harder. So, I mean, he's just continuing to farm so rapidly. He's sitting at 264 last hits on Scooby. That's amazing.
Farming up a Storm, and the Void, the Weaver, falling further and further behind. Deadly's Viper does complete the Aghanim Scepter. Level 18 now. Talon is where things get really juicy for the Viper. Almost doubling the damage of the Viper Strike.
Definitely good ultimate this game, especially because of the slow against Lifestealer. It's only a 10-second cooldown right now. Even without the Viper Strike DPS at 20, still pretty happy with this, but it's still difficult. It makes him naturally tanky, his right click is not that strong, and it just feels like EG has more control over fights.
Yep. Well, Na'Vi have a lot of damage for the time, and that's something that doesn't work against an IO. He's going to heal over time, so unless they can solve the IO problem, which we haven't seen because we haven't had a team fight really this entire game, I just don't see them getting through EG. They have to get past the cores and somehow kill this Weaver.
IO didn't even get the Scepter tether bonus either. He went for 90 Spirits hero damage. There's not that many eggs benefits this game other than on like AA or maybe Beastmaster War, but he just doesn't care about those. So he's just going to focus on dealing damage and focus on saving his allies if needed.
You don't want to be using your tether on a hero to give him an Ags when there may be someone in the front lines who needs a tether for the overcharge or a relocate save. So.
Basically every other IO ability.
Yeah.
A little more important for sure.
Yeah, by tethering someone to give them an Ags, you're kind of negating the purpose of the hero.
Yeah.
It's in some ways like a bad way to use tether because of in a team fight at least.
Yeah. Crit's in such a good position though. Like he's had so much time to farm this game. 0-0 and 5 right now. He's got Mech, he's got Urn, he's got a Wand, he's got a Ghost Scepter. Basically nothing's going to deal damage to him except for something like Chronosphere into follow-up setup. As long as this guy's not stunned, he's going to be able to defend himself.
I think that's the beauty of this game, dragging on IO getting farmed. That the hero that kind of annoys IO and can be a problem is the Weaver. Weaver is kind of talked about as like, oh, that's good against the IO. He's going to Jikuchi the backlines, find him and kill him off. But when you've got a Mech and well, more importantly, the Ghost Scepter, you don't really care. The Weaver cannot solo kill you at this point. It's got to be locked down from a Chronosphere, as you said, an Earth Splitter. Something additional needs to come into play if they want to get the IO.
And that's assuming he doesn't pop Ghost Scepter before the Chrono. Like, as long as Crit is paying attention and he sits in a safe place, and Na'Vi doesn't get to Chrono out of nowhere, then he should be able to defend himself. And once he finishes Greaves as well in a moment, more armor for the team, more regen, and a lot more armor when he gets low. So just incredible map control for EG right now. This is their bread and butter. This is the way they like playing. Beastmaster's queuing up a heart next.
Yep.
So he's just impossible to kill at that point.
It's very much like the safest way for EG to play this. If Na'Vi's going to sit in their base and not come out and contest Roshan, take fights, then you don't risk your lead by going high ground. You secure your lead by out-farming Na'Vi. They're only up by a couple of kills, but it's over 20k gold. They've got Aegis, they've got Cheese, but they just don't care about pushing high ground. I think they also just know their lineup scales way better into the late game. The attempted kill on the Witch Doctor. Viper Strike will calm down.
Okay, get them a little low, but he should survive from that.
No Ags, the Glimmer Cape on Misery, prioritizing the utility this game. Probably thinking like, man, I should go to Midas with how low action this game is.
I mean, the Glimmer is like super needed when you're playing a hero like A against Weaver, because going invisible is the only way to easily remove the bugs as a support. So Glimmer is the best solution. With that said though, General does have a Dust and he's carrying out the ready because he wants to get these solo kills. Look at his position. Like, this is all he can do. He's like, I'm not going to sit in the base. I will just hopefully find support.
Radiant structures
General's
are fortified.
been involved in 6 of the 10 Na'Vi kills, but the majority of those have been AA kills, which, end of the day, have not really contributed to a whole lot. Incredible game in a sense. Like, you look at Arteezy, Crit, these guys both 0 kills, 0 death. It's just not been the priority for EG, whereas coming out on top of this one. They know they do not need kills. Just need that one big team fight. Aegis is going to expire, and I don't think EG mind that they didn't get a lane of Rax while they had that Aegis.
They don't want to mess around. They've got the map control. They don't want to gamble this on a Chrono with a Death Ward. Anything else to follow up, like Elder Titan Ultimate, that could absolutely throw the game. They sit back, they continue to farm. We're going to see 2L get Chrono though.
Yeah. This is perhaps the big kill here. They're not going to need an Earth Splitter. It looks like they bring down 2L. Does he go for any kind of a buyback push here? Top lane, meanwhile, Arteezy doing damage to the tier 3 tower. They get on LeBron. 2L is going to buy back. Perhaps Boots of Trouble, and he TPs into the shrine. He's looking to rejoin here. Crystallize does not have Chrono for this one. Here comes Io. Small little relocate out, making sure Arteezy does not get brought down, and they want to go for the push, I imagine. This is the open. This is when you can push high ground. Chrono is down. He dodges The Viper Strike with an infest. Great play from Arteezy. He's back on the tower with Ray. Sumail goes in, gets the roar on Dandy. Viper's dead. Forced the buyback. Lil's next to the firing line. In goes the DK. Gets the stun on General's Weaver. Weaver cannot time lapse away. And Na'Vi are crumbling. Buyback after buyback. They've got to find a way to hold. They're trying to bring down Arteezy. Viper Strike slowing him down. Can Arteezy get away here? There's a lot of chase. The Fuse are going to slow him even further. General taking big damage as he chases though. And Arteezy should be fine. He's got another rage if he needs it. Crit's also there on the sidelines.
Playing very safe.
And Na'Vi will not get any kills as they commit 3 buybacks. You're going to throw those buybacks out. You've got to get those kills. You get full gold for them nowadays. But not getting them, they fall deeper and deeper into the hole, Kevin.
And all it cost them was a Chronosphere on Beastmaster and a Beastmaster death. And a Beastmaster buyback.
That's kind of how
not
you
that
need to
bad.
play a late game against a one ulti team like a Void with a Chronosphere is having buyback. It's worth it to use a buyback to secure, well, they don't get a rack, but to secure a 1-5 when that Chrono is down, it feels like.
And it also guarantees them shrine kills, so now the map control is even worse for Na'Vi. Forced to sit in their base. I mean, the way that EG's been playing these fights is like perfectly calculated. IO didn't even want to tether Arteezy in that moment because he just didn't want to get gone on in the first place. And he also, in some ways, it kind of looked like he's like, go for Arteezy, go ahead. I can always be there for him and keep him alive. I want him to stay a little low, just in case you'll actually leave your base. That way we can just wipe you and end the game.
Yep. Giving Chris the cheese. I love this.
Bottom shrine
One of the best cheese heroes in the game. What can Na'Vi do differently? Like, can they just never afford to use a Chronosphere on a solo kill? Like, was that a bad Chrono in hindsight, would you say?
I don't know. It's so hard to say because I feel like EG's at the net worth advantage at this point that getting solo kills is inconsequential. It's like if EG wanted to, they could just high ground. But if Na'Vi never goes for chrono kills, then they'll just be in the base until EG has 100k gold advantage and ends it, you know?
Yeah,
or
like
wait
damned
until
if you do,
refresher shard.
damned if you don't kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, hopefully they can grab more heroes than a Chronosphere, or they can maybe get a gem of their own and de-award something. Might be helpful, but very hard.
Now we get the 5s kicking in as we hit the 40-minute mark. Sumail has the extra Inner Beast attack speed, so even more physical damage coming from him. Lifestealer hits his 25 plus 2-second rage duration, as you'd expect. Better
That's the way to
sieging.
siege.
Yep, exactly. That's how you siege.
And his next item, another BKB.
Gonna have a lot of BKB duration.
18 seconds of magic immunity.
More,
That's
because you get
like,
the rage will
oh god, you're right.
refresh, so plus another extra 8. 26 seconds.
It's like old Lifestealer back in the day.
26 seconds of magic immunity as a Lifestealer.
Pretty good. Especially with this much HP and armor and right click.
Yeah, that's where you look. Well, is there physical damage to kill him during magic immunity? Not really. You can slow down his damage up with the Viper Strikes and can still apply that without the damage during his...
Ugh. It's going to be so hard for them to kill him. It's very smart that he's going BKB this game, because really most of their damage is coming from Viper and amplification from Nether Toxin and Maledict. And he can just protect himself against all of those with Rage and BKB. They just don't have an alternate damage source.
And the final, perhaps, problem to solve for EG is how do we just break this base? You know, we're ahead, we're getting further and further ahead. This game feels like it's in the bag. But how do we actually, you know, get across the finish line, break some buildings, and, you know, having a magic immune carry like a Lifestealer is how you do it. But, you know, Rage is there, but let's get more. Let's get more magic.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of the Ags on A this game, just because it could give them an easier way to jump in and kill somebody instantly maybe, and then back out without having to fully commit. That could work, but he's very far away from that. And I think the next most obvious is just things like Refresher Shard.
Crazy thing is right now, like, EG just have such a good understanding of how Na'Vi are playing in their base that both Arteezy and Fear don't have buyback. They just, you know, he's going to buy a BKB. He doesn't feel afraid that Na'Vi's going to come out and make a play, because they haven't. That's just not been Na'Vi's motif this game, and as a result, you know, perhaps the opening there is, you know, if Na'Vi somehow smoke out and get a Chronosphere, kill a Lifestealer and a DK, you know, you win the game off of that. They don't have buyback at 42 minutes, that's game over, but EG are just so confident that they understand what Na'Vi are doing. They don't need to have those buybacks.
You have to use Rage here to dodge the stun. By the way, if Lifestealer uses a Refresher Shard, he could become magic immune for about 50 seconds.
I dig it.
That'd be pretty cool too.
Who has got the Refresher Shard? On the Dragon Knight in his backpack, okay.
Choice multiple initiations, multiple BKBs.
Here comes EG. 32,000 net worth advantage. Arteezy just sieging the building, slow and steady.
Fear splitting mid in the meantime too.
Yep, trying to see what damage he can do.
It's a great way to do it because that way there's heroes in both lanes, less likely to get grouped up and everyone gets chronoed.
Yep,
Radiant's
looking to
top
maximize their
has
damage
fallen.
output on these buildings here. Arteezy's starting to get pretty low. Crit is in the neighborhood. Could even give him a cheese if he wants to. Needs to get low. He's starting to use the overcharge. Yeah, it looks like Crit's almost like, oh, I need to start losing some health here. Heal up my team.
In a way, keep life stealers health up, and then when Rage is back up, jump back in, hit towers.
Yep. He's like, well, top lane's done. Let's focus on mid now. As before,
Radiant's
Fear again
middle
is
tower
splitting.
has
He's not
fallen.
doing much damage. The health talent and all the survivability he's got next to no damage output, but he is creating a difficult scenario for Na'Vi. General gets gone over the Blink Rock. Chronosphere comes in, catches two. Where's the Io? Relocates it perfectly, pulls him out of the Chronosphere. Meanwhile, Arteezy likely to go down here, but that's just the Aegis. Fear swoops in, gets caught in the Maledict. Death was there as well. He's very, very tanky. Won't take any damage from the Maledict as well because of the BKB, and Arteezy says, let's just get some racks. Let's hit these buildings. Fear's back hitting the bottom lane. EG don't even have to go for the kills. They just slowly, bit by bit, are breaking Na'Vi's base. Chrono is used. I imagine EG may just be able to clean up these remaining lanes of racks here at this point because of the Chrono cooldown.
Definitely possible. Can they get the kill? They got him.
They got the stun. Crystallized, great force stun, but it's not enough. He's going to be forced to buy back. Instantly, TP's back in, and
It's going to be RTC dying, maybe. Okay, gets Rage off.
the Rage off and back to the safety of the low ground here. Back in with the Rage. He's healing up as well. Dandy gets chewed apart. He does not have buyback. And now Na'Vi back to the well they go. Fear gets a blink stun off. They catch up Crystallize, and GG is called. Na'Vi.
Very
Death
hard game.
by 1,000 cuts, it feels like this game.
I mean, I think they did really well considering the laning stage. They had a tough laning situation. I think General did amazing considering the absolute beginning of his laning stage. They pressured DK effectively, but again, with DK mid, it doesn't matter. He gets killed, he still farms, and he eventually gets a Blink Dagger, and then he eventually gets a BKB, and then he can completely do his job. On the other side of the map, EG pretty confidently won their off lane, getting a couple solo kills and taking towers.